There's something deeply unsettling about watching the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy laugh at the truth, Ambassador Chen thought as he stood before the Galactic Council's towering crystalline chamber. The 5,000-year-old hall sparkled with technology Earth's finest engineers could barely comprehend, yet all Chen could see was their vulnerability. The council members, each representing star empires spanning hundreds of worlds, shifted restlessly in their environmental pods. Their translator matrices hummed with barely contained amusement at Earth's primitive warning. Distinguished council members, Chen spoke firmly, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. Our astronomical data shows an approaching wave of quantum disruption. Based on Earth's own brush with technological collapse during our Industrial Revolution, we recognize the pattern. This isn't just another solar flare or magnetic storm. It's something far worse. High Counselor Zwextal, their crystalline form shimmering with expected authority, raised what passed for an appendage. Earth has been part of the galactic community for barely 50 cycles. Your species still relies on binary computing and chemical rockets for your colony ships. While we appreciate your concern, our civilizations have weathered cosmic events for millennia. A ripple of agreement passed through the chamber. Chen noticed Junior Counselor Reth, one of the younger species, barely 1,000 years into space travel, looking uncertain. At least someone was listening. That's precisely why we're warning you, Chen pressed on. Earth learned the hard way that sometimes older, simpler technologies survive what advanced systems cannot. We've seen this pattern before in our own history. The more complex the system, the more vulnerable dash. Enough. High Counselor Zwextal's interruption rang through the chamber. Earth's delegation has been heard. The Council thanks you for your input, but we have far more pressing matters to discuss. The trading rights dispute in the Carina sector requires our immediate attention. As Chen left the chamber, he caught Junior Counselor Reth hurrying to catch up. Ambassador, Reth's translation matrix whispered, some of us remember being dismissed as primitive too. What exactly did Earth experience that makes you so certain? Before Chen could answer, the chamber's lights flickered, just for a moment, barely noticeable. But in that instant, Chen saw real fear flash across the High Counselor's crystalline surface. It had begun. Send the signal, Chen sub-vocalized to his Earth command link. Initiate Protocol Omega. They wouldn't listen. Now we need to be ready to help pick up the pieces. The lights flickered again, longer this time. And somewhere, in the depths of the Council's quantum processors, the first cascading failures began to spread. The Grand Archives of the Galactic Council hummed with quantum computations as Senior Archivist Vix reviewed Earth's warning for the 100th time. Their crystalline appendages tapped against the holoscreen, analyzing the crude data Earth had provided. Such primitive measurements, taken with instruments that barely qualified as technology by Council standards. Yet something about the numbers haunted them. Still obsessing over that backwater planet's doomsaying? Council technician Pelmar floated into the archive chamber, their environmental field crackling with amusement. The High Council has already dismissed it. You're wasting your processing cycles. Look at these patterns, Vix insisted, expanding the holographic display. Earth's measurements show a correlation between technological complexity and system vulnerability. Their historical records indicate dash. Another flicker of the lights interrupted them, longer than the last. Throughout the massive archive complex, quantum processors stuttered, causing momentary gaps in the real-time translation matrices. Pelmar's environmental field wavered briefly. Just another power fluctuation, Pelmar dismissed, though their tone carried a hint of uncertainty. The Council's systems are self-correcting. We've had this technology for millennia. In his private chambers, Junior Counselor Reth reviewed his own data streams with growing concern. The frequency of system disruptions had increased by 47% over the past rotation. Small failures, easily corrected, but the pattern was undeniable. He encrypted a private message to Ambassador Chen, requesting more information about Earth's historical experience. The response came not through the quantum networks, but through an antiquated radio signal, suggest immediate implementation of backup systems. Analog preferred. Time running out. Reth almost laughed at the suggestion. Analog systems? Like the mechanical computers Earth still kept in museums? The very idea was absurd. Yet the next moment, his entire communication array went dark for a full minute. When it restored, the first reports began flooding in from the outer colonies. Quantum communication networks experiencing unprecedented failures. Environmental control systems showing dangerous instabilities. AI cores falling into recursive loops. In the council chamber, High Counselor Ziweixtal maintained their composure as reports piled up. Minor technical difficulties. Our systems will adapt and overcome, as they always have. We are the most advanced civilizations in known space. We do not panic over temporary setbacks. But in the depths of the archive, VixTH made a decision. They began downloading critical historical data onto physical storage crystals, a technology so old it predated the Council itself. As they worked, they noticed similar downloads occurring across multiple sectors. Other archivists, other species, all quietly preparing for what they refused to acknowledge openly. The lights flickered again, and this time, they stayed dark for 5 full minutes. When they returned, 3 colony worlds had gone completely silent. And on Earth, Ambassador Chen received a priority message from Command, Protocol Omega in full effect. Standing by to render assistance. May whatever gods they believe in help them understand before it's too late. In the darkness of space, an invisible wave of quantum disruption continued its relentless advance, caring nothing for the pride of ancient civilizations or the warnings of younger ones. The clockwork of the cosmos had begun a new cycle, and this time, the most advanced species in the galaxy were about to learn a lesson in humility, assuming they survived long enough to understand it. The great quantum towers of Ziweixtal Prime, once beacons of advanced civilization, stood dark against the triple moonrise. In the streets below, millions of crystalline beings huddled around primitive chemical fires, their environmental fields flickering dangerously as city-wide systems continued to fail. Report, High Counselor Ziweixtal demanded, their usual shimmer dulled by stress and failing life support. The emergency session of the Galactic Council now met in an ancient underground chamber, lit by bioluminescent fungi, the only reliable light source they had left. Junior Counselor Reth's voice shook as they delivered the news. 37 major systems have gone dark. The quantum disruption wave has increased in intensity by 300%. Our most advanced colonies are the hardest hit, the more sophisticated their infrastructure, the faster the collapse. They paused, then added quietly, Earth's predictions were accurate to within 98.7%. A bitter silence filled the chamber. The mighty Galactic Council, rulers of 1,000 star systems, reduced to meeting by fungal light while their technology crumbled around them. In orbit above, the situation was even more dire. The massive fleet of the Galactic Defense Force drifted powerless, their quantum drives reduced to inert crystal. Only the smallest ships, those with auxiliary chemical thrusters, could still maneuver. The proud armada that had protected galactic peace for millennia now needed rescue from primitive Earth vessels. Update from the archival sector, announced Council Member Pelmar, their environmental field barely functioning. Senior Archivist VixTH reports success in transferring 23% of critical data to crystalline storage before total system failure. They've established contact with Earth's data preservation team. High Counselor Ziweixtal's surface rippled with suppressed emotion. And what do our Earth colleagues suggest? They're calling it Operation Groundwork, Reth reported, reviewing a paper document, actual physical paper, shipped from Earth. They're deploying teams with expertise in pre-quantum technology. Engineering specialists who understand mechanical and chemical systems. They're offering to help us adapt. The chamber erupted in conflicted murmurs. The idea of accepting help from Earth, of admitting their primitive warning had been right, stung their collective pride. But with each passing moment, more systems failed. More lives hung in the balance. Deep in the archives, VixTH worked alongside Earth technicians, learning to operate mechanical backup systems that hadn't seen use in generations. The humans moved with practiced efficiency, their outdated tools now worth more than all the quantum processors in the galaxy. Your people knew, VixTH said to Sarah Chen, Ambassador Chen's daughter and lead technical advisor. You knew this would happen. How? Sarah adjusted a manual pressure valve before responding. Because we never fully trusted technology we couldn't fix with a wrench. Every advancement, every leap forward, we kept the old ways alive too. Not out of fear, but respect for what came before. She smiled grimly. Sometimes the oldest solutions are the most reliable. Above them, another quantum tower went dark. But this time, mechanical backup systems whirred to life, their steady rhythms a stark contrast to the silent quantum machinery. It wasn't elegant, it wasn't advanced, but it worked. In the council chamber, High Counselor Ziweixtal made the hardest decision of their long life. Send word to Earth's delegation. The Galactic Council humbly requests their full assistance in implementing survival protocols. As the message was carried by hand, written on actual paper, to the Earth Embassy, the quantum disruption wave continued its inexorable advance through the galaxy. But now, for the first time since the crisis began, there was hope. Not in the form of advanced technology or quantum computing, but in the simple, reliable solutions that Earth had never forgotten. The great empires of the galaxy were about to learn that true advancement sometimes meant knowing when to take a step back. And in the darkness of failed quantum systems, the warm glow of chemical fires and mechanical engines began to light the way forward. Within the once pristine halls of the Galactic Council's emergency bunker, Ambassador Chen stood before a gathering unlike any in galactic history. The mighty council members, their environmental fields now powered by Earth-designed mechanical generators, listened with newfound humility. The quantum disruption wave isn't just destroying technology, Chen explained, gesturing to a hand-drawn chart. It's teaching us all a lesson about resilience. Every Earth colony comes equipped with what we call regression protocols, the ability to step back through technological ages while maintaining essential functions. High Counselor Ziweixtal's crystalline surface rippled with reluctant acknowledgement. Your people prepare for failure, as a standard practice. We prepare for change, Chen corrected gently. Earth's history taught us that progress isn't always linear. Sometimes you have to take a step back to move forward. In orbit, the transformation was already visible. Earth ships, running on chemical engines and mechanical computers, towed disabled alien vessels to safety. Human engineers worked alongside alien crews, teaching them to operate manual systems that their species had abandoned millennia ago. On the surface of Ziweixtal Prime, Sarah Chen supervised the installation of hydraulic lift systems in a hospital tower. These will keep your life support systems running even if we lose power again, she explained to the alien medical staff. They're based on technology Earth used centuries ago, but we've never stopped improving them. The alien doctor, their crystalline form dimmed by stress, watched in fascination as the purely mechanical system began pumping vital fluids. Such elegant simplicity, they marveled. We had forgotten that solutions don't always require quantum manipulation. Throughout the sector, similar scenes played out. Earth's primitive technology, refined over centuries of careful preservation and improvement, proved remarkably effective against the crisis. Mechanical computers, chemical engines, analog communication systems, tools the Council had dismissed as relics were now the lifeline of civilization. There's something poetic about this, Junior Counselor Reth observed, watching Earth engineers install a mechanical ventilation system. Your species, the newest among us, preserving the oldest ways. Ambassador Chen nodded. We learned early that new doesn't always mean better. Every technology has its place, its purpose. The trick is knowing which tool suits which moment. In the depths of the archive, VixTH worked with human data specialists, transferring quantum records to mechanical storage systems. Your people, they said, you never abandoned these methods, even when you developed more advanced ones. Why? The human archivist smiled, feeding another crystal into the mechanical reader. Because history taught us that everything cycles. The more complex a system becomes, the more ways it can fail. Sometimes the simplest solution is the most elegant. As the quantum disruption wave continued its passage through the galaxy, Earth's preparation proved its worth. While advanced civilizations struggled to adapt, human colonies maintained essential services through carefully preserved, primitive technology. The very systems the Council had mocked now formed the foundation of their survival. In the emergency bunker, High Counselor Zhuextal made an unprecedented announcement. The Council hereby establishes the Earth Preservation Initiative. All member species will begin immediate implementation of regression protocols and technological preservation programs. We must learn from those who remembered what we chose to forget. And in that moment, as ancient civilizations learned to embrace the wisdom of their youngest member, the galaxy began to understand. True advancement wasn't about abandoning the old for the new, but about knowing how to use both in harmony. The lights flickered again, but this time, no one panicked. The mechanical systems hummed steadily, a reminder that sometimes the best way forward is to remember where you've been. In the lower levels of the Council archives, a remarkable scene unfolded. VixTH, their crystalline form illuminated by the warm glow of chemical lanterns, watched in fascination as human engineers demonstrated the principles of mechanical data storage to a group of young alien apprentices. The beauty of this system, Sarah Chen explained, turning a massive brass and steel mechanism, is that you can read the data without any power source at all. Your own natural bioluminescence is enough to decode the patterns. The quantum disruption wave had now blanketed half the known galaxy, but something unexpected was emerging from the crisis. As advanced systems failed, new connections formed between species who had never truly understood each other before. Look at this, Junior Counselor Reth exclaimed, holding up a simple mechanical calculator. The mathematics are the same as our quantum computers, just physical. We've been doing the same things all along, just in different ways. Throughout the Council space, a transformation was taking place. Alien civilizations, forced to adapt to simpler technologies, began discovering strengths they never knew they had. The crystalline beings of Zhuextal Prime found their natural ability to refract light made them perfect for operating optical computers. The gaseous entities of the Mist Collective realized their fluid nature allowed them to power mechanical systems directly. Ambassador Chen stood with High Counselor Zhuextal, watching a mixed team of humans and aliens install a massive mechanical communication array. You know, Chen said thoughtfully, Earth's greatest achievements didn't come from abandoning old technology, but from finding new ways to use it. Zhuextal's surface rippled with newfound understanding. We thought advancement meant leaving the past behind. Instead, it meant building upon it. In orbit, the first successful tests of hybrid technology began. Earth engineers had worked with alien scientists to create systems that combined the reliability of mechanical systems with the natural abilities of different species. Quantum processors, once the heart of galactic civilization, were being reimagined as components in larger, more resilient systems. It's not about going backwards, Sarah Chen explained to a gathering of Council scientists. It's about understanding that every level of technology has its place. The quantum disruption wave isn't destroying civilization, it's forcing us to become more adaptable. Deep in the archives, VixTH made a discovery that changed everything. Buried in the oldest records, preserved on crystal sheets so ancient they predated the Council itself, they found evidence that this wasn't the first time such a disruption had swept the galaxy. Their ancestors had faced similar challenges, and their solutions had been remarkably similar to Earth's approach. We didn't just forget the old ways, VixTH realized, sharing their discovery with the Council. We forgot why we needed them. As the crisis continued, a new pattern emerged. The civilizations that adapted best weren't the most advanced, but the most flexible, those willing to combine old and new, simple and complex, mechanical and quantum. And at the heart of this adaptation was an unexpected truth: the very diversity that the Council had once seen as a weakness was proving to be their greatest strength. High Counselor Zwe, standing in the manually powered emergency chamber, made an announcement that would change galactic society forever. We hereby establish the Combined Technologies Initiative. Every member species will contribute their unique perspectives and abilities to create systems that work at all technological levels. And as the quantum disruption wave reached its peak, something remarkable happened. The galaxy didn't just survive, it began to thrive in new ways. Species that had never worked together found common ground in shared challenges. Ancient wisdom merged with new innovations. And in the midst of what could have been their darkest hour, the light of understanding began to shine brighter than any quantum processor ever had. Earth's primitive warning had done more than save lives. It had opened the door to a new era of galactic cooperation, one where every level of technology and every species' unique abilities had a vital role to play. The Great Assembly Hall of New Unity Station hung suspended in space, a testament to the unprecedented collaboration between Earth and the former Council worlds. Its structure was a perfect metaphor for the new galactic order: quantum crystalline spires supported by mechanical foundations, powered by a combination of advanced technology and simple, reliable systems. 200 years ago, our ancestors would never have believed this possible. Ambassador Chen's grandson, David, addressed the gathered representatives. The chamber itself exemplified their evolution. Environmental fields now worked in harmony with mechanical life support, each system backing up the other. The quantum disruption wave had transformed not just their technology, but their entire approach to civilization. Where once stood rigid hierarchies of advancement, now flourished networks of mutual support and shared knowledge. The latest reports from the outer sectors are encouraging, Senior Archivist VixTH announced, their crystalline form glowing with pride. The hybrid defense networks held against the latest quantum surge. Not a single colony lost power. Around the station, evidence of their adaptation was everywhere. Alien beings whose species once relied solely on quantum technology now moved confidently between different technological levels. Young crystalline entities studied alongside human engineers, each learning from the other's perspective. In the station's core, Sarah Chen's daughter Lei supervised the installation of a new hybrid communication array. The beauty of this system, she explained to a group of multi-species technicians, is that it doesn't just survive disruption, it gets stronger from it. Each failure teaches the mechanical systems, while the quantum processors learn to operate at lower energy states. High Counselor Reth, once the junior member who'd first heeded Earth's warning, nodded in approval. We've learned that true resilience comes not from building higher, but building deeper. Every layer of technology, from the simplest lever to the most complex quantum field, has its vital role. The research centers that once focused solely on quantum advancement now buzzed with activity across all technological levels. Teams of humans and aliens worked together, combining Earth's preserved knowledge with alien insights to create systems that were both advanced and resilient. "Look at this," a young Zwe scientist exclaimed, demonstrating a new hybrid medical system. The mechanical backup doesn't just keep it running, it actually makes the quantum processes more stable. The old ways and the new, strengthening each other. As the assembly session concluded, David Chen and High Counselor Reth stood at the observation dome, watching ships of all technological levels moving smoothly through space. Some powered by quantum drives, others by chemical engines, all part of the same fleet. Your grandfather's warning didn't just save us from disaster, Reth mused. It saved us from our own hubris. We thought we had to choose between advancement and reliability. Instead, we learned to embrace both. The quantum disruption wave continued its cosmic cycle, but now it met a civilization prepared not just to survive it, but to grow stronger from its passage. Each surge brought new insights, new adaptations, new ways of combining the wisdom of the past with the innovations of the present. In the heart of New Unity Station, a monument stood, a simple mechanical clock, its gears turning in perfect harmony with quantum time displays. Above it, words in every galactic language shared the lesson they had learned at last: progress is not a ladder to climb, but a web to weave. Every strand matters. The galaxy had not just survived, it had transcended its former limitations. And in doing so, proved that the greatest advancement of all was learning to value every step of the journey that had brought them here. The quantum disruption wave had finally passed. In its wake, a transformed galaxy sparkled with a different kind of light, one that spoke not of dominance over nature, but of harmony with it. Ambassador David Chen stood in the Great Hall of Remembrance, recently constructed on what was once the site of the old council chamber, preparing to address the gathered representatives of every known spacefaring species. The hall itself told their story: foundations of solid stone supporting mechanical marvels, crowned with quantum crystals that pulsed in sync with simpler systems below. Natural light mingled with artificial illumination, each complementing the other just as their civilizations now did. 10 cycles have passed, David began, his voice carrying through both quantum and mechanical amplification systems, since Earth first warned of the coming storm. Today, we gather not to mark an end, but to celebrate a beginning. Around him, the assembled beings, from crystalline ancients to gaseous younglings, listened with an attention that would have been unthinkable in the old council days. Each representative wore or projected a simple mechanical timepiece alongside their quantum communicators, a lasting symbol of the lesson they had learned. Our ancestors believed that advancement meant leaving the past behind, he continued. We now understand that true progress means building upon all that came before. Every level of technology, every stage of development, has its place in the greater whole. In orbit above, the new combined fleet demonstrated this philosophy in action. Ships of all eras and origins moved in perfect formation, quantum drives humming alongside chemical thrusters, mechanical computers working in harmony with AI systems. Each vessel carried backup systems spanning multiple technological ages, not as a sign of regression, but of wisdom. Senior Archivist VixTH, their crystalline form now etched with the history they had helped preserve, activated a holographic display showing the galaxy's technological evolution. But unlike the linear progression charts of old, this one formed a complex web of interconnected developments. We no longer measure civilization by its highest achievements, VixTH announced, but by its ability to adapt, to remember, and to combine the wisdom of all ages. High Counselor Reth, their environmental field now powered by a hybrid system that had become the new standard, rose to speak. Earth's warning saved more than our technology. It saved our understanding of what progress truly means. We thought them primitive because they preserved the old ways. Now we know that this very act was the most advanced thing of all. The gathering concluded with a ceremony that would have once seemed impossible: the dedication of the new Galactic Institute of Technological Harmony. Within its walls, students from every species would learn not just the latest advancements, but every step that had led to them. Mechanical engineering would be studied alongside quantum physics, chemical propulsion alongside spacefold dynamics. As the ceremonies concluded, David Chen stood with his family, watching the triple sun set through the hall's crystalline dome. Grandfather would be proud, Lei said softly, holding up her own mechanical timepiece, the same one Ambassador Chen had worn when he first warned the council. He understood something we all needed to learn, David replied. The most advanced civilization isn't the one that reaches the highest, it's the one that builds the strongest foundation. Above them, the stars twinkled with both natural and artificial light, a reminder that in this vast universe, there was room for every kind of wisdom. The quantum disruption wave had not destroyed their civilization, it had transformed it into something far greater than the sum of its parts. And in the end, the greatest lesson wasn't about technology at all. It was about humility, wisdom, and the understanding that true strength lies not in standing alone at the peak, but in building bridges between all levels of achievement. The galaxy had learned to laugh with wonder rather than derision, to listen rather than dismiss, and to remember rather than discard. And in doing so, they had created something that no quantum disruption could ever truly threaten, a civilization built not on pride, but on understanding. They had learned, at last, that the future belongs not to those who reach the highest, but to those who build the wisest. Copy.